Hi, I'm Gretchen McKay with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and we're here today in the PG test kitchen, actually the PG test driveway, and that hissing that you might be hearing right now is a big drum of peanut oil that is heating up. We're waiting for it to get to about 350 degrees because today, in anticipation of Thanksgiving, we're going to be deep frying a turkey. Now, I know you guys have all heard the horror stories of people catching things on fire, burning themselves, ending up in the ER. So we're going to take every precaution, including have our handy fire extinguisher here. But this is something that a lot of people have been doing. It's supposed to be a really wonderful way to enjoy a Thanksgiving turkey. It takes only 35 minutes, which is a definite plus. So we thought we would go ahead and do it using Paula Dean's recipe, who is probably the quintessential Southern cook. And while we've got all this oil here, which is very expensive, we're going to be frying some donuts beforehand, and afterwards, while our turkey's resting, we're going to make some homemade potato chips. This is just a buttermilk donut recipe that I got from Cooks Illustrated. You're going to want to ease them in to avoid any splatters, and the oil may be getting a little bit too hot. So I'm going to turn it down because they're burning! Nuts! And once they float to the top, you're going to turn them over. I'm going to give my husband that burnt one. I wish you could smell these. They really smell good. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of sugar on them. And I like the natural sugar here, which isn't sticking too well. And there we go. Some homemade buttermilk donuts. Who wants a donut? What?
Be careful.
Be careful of this.
Are they hot?
Walk around that way. Well, those donuts were a success, so now we're ready to go on to the main course, which is this turkey, which I have a dry rub on that is basically just salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. This is a moment of truth. I have to admit, I'm really scared. I've got these wrapped around my hand because I don't own oven mitts, but I don't want to get oil spattered on me. It only takes 3 minutes per pound, plus 5 minutes for the bird, and this is about a 12-pound turkey, so we're looking at about 35 minutes, but of course I'll check it for an internal temperature of 180. And when it's done, it should float to the top. So, okay. I guess go slow. Oh God. I think it's too high. Now what? Okay, I think I made the #1 mistake that a lot of people make, and there was just too much oil in that pan and it bubbled over. Heat might have been a little bit too high too, so we took out probably a gallon or so of oil. Heat's a little bit lower, and we're going to try this again. Oh God. Now, another reason why this turkey might have sputtered like that is, besides the oil being a little bit too hot and too much of it, is it may not have been completely dry. I thought it was, but you never want to stick a turkey in oil that's still frozen or wet because, you know, oil and water don't really mix. So you want to make sure that it's patted dry and completely thawed before you put it in. And it's really important that you keep it at, you know, between 350, 375. You don't want it below about 340 or you're just going to have an oily mess. Now this has been cooking for almost a half an hour, so I'm just going to do a spot check to see how well it's getting done by putting a thermometer in the breast. Well, that's 180.
Is it 180?
It's 180. Well, no, that's 160. I'm sorry. Those are my middle-aged eyes. 5 more minutes. All right, I think it's really done this time. Because it sure smells done. Hooray! She's done. And now that the turkey's done, we're going to use up this oil to fry some sweet potato chips. And this basically is just thin slices of sweet potato that I cut on the mandolin. Gonna fry them in just about a minute and a half. And these look about done. Top them with a little bit of salt. Sweet potato chips. Could also do them as French fries. And here we are. My very first deep fried turkey. Very good. Really good. It's worth almost getting burned for. So, happy Thanksgiving. Be careful though.